Peeling off the masks. Ritual 3A. Take off your mask, your face is glorious. Rumi. For this ritual, you will walk backward down the timeline of your personal history, identifying and peeling off the masks as you go. Some will be thin masks only used for certain people. Some will be thick and heavy, shielding you from direct attacks on significant wounds. These thick and heavy masks will have some effect on every aspect of your life. They may be victim masks, or grief masks, or other. This is a form of a process called recapitulation, where we revisit our past, hoping to learn about our present condition from trauma we suffered back then. Putting on a mask can often be a repressed memory, repressed along with the situation that caused you to first put it on. These memories need to be revived and examined to discover their true meaning, and so they can be submitted for healing. When I walked back along my timeline, I found many, many masks, all donned to protect me from myself, mostly to protect my heart from further breaking, mostly to reject love before it rejected me. Masks that helped me pass as normal when I walked down the high school hallways, despite feeling anything but normal inside at that time. I had masks heavy with grief, and a victim mask I would wear when anyone questioned why I was so withdrawn. Who are you to judge me? That victim mask was also stuffed full of anger. You may not be surprised to hear that for me, the journey back along my timeline ended with the first masks I wore to protect my two original wounds. The first mask was to get my father to love me more, like he did my brother. That was a mask that looked more like my brother than me. A mask of a boy that liked fishing and sports, like my brother did. A mask that covered up the dreamer who would sit in his room and make up and sing silly songs. And a dreamer who would draw pictures of animals that didn't really exist. A mask to bring down to earth a boy whose head was in the clouds. The second mask was that of a loving parent that I presented as a child to my mother to help her deal with her scar and wounds. I knew she needed love from a parent and that her parents could not give it. I loved her and wanted to give her what she needed but did not have. As a 5-year-old boy, I didn't realize I was not capable of giving her that parental love and that I certainly shouldn't try. And as I turned into a teenager, my failure to succeed in this hopeless task transformed into a mask of anger and resentment. Now this mask sought to blame her and hurt her for what she had made me take on as a small child. It became a mask that hid any empathy or compassion that are the natural feelings of the unscarred. To begin this ritual, lie down and get comfortable. When I take this walk through my personal history, I like to play some calming instrumental music and put a visor over my eyes. I don't want to be distracted by any other sensory stimuli from the outside, such as ringing phones, glaring sun, moving people, noisy streets, etc. Take some deep breaths, slowly in, slowly out, through the nose if that is comfortable for you. Speak your intention to yourself. Today I will walk back along the timeline of my personal history, observing every time I put on a mask to protect my wounds from exposure and further trauma. I will look carefully for masks in every important relationship. Close friends, lovers, parents, siblings, and extended family. Walk through each school you attended, college, high school, grade school. Did the mask change in different grades or different schools? Did you move and change schools at some point, and what effect did that have? Examine each place you lived and how that affected the personality and character traits that made up who you are today. Ask yourself, what was the reason I first donned this mask, and what was the result of wearing it? How did wearing the mask change who you were or still are today? How did it change the way you interacted with people or circumstances in your life? Did it increase your fear? Of what? From this perspective, can you answer the question as to why you first put on that mask? And then, of course, the next question is, are you ready to remove it? This is the toughest question, and the answer isn't always an automatic yes. These things happen in their own time. Don't be surprised when the answer to this question is no, I'm not ready. Skip that mask then and move on to the next. You can take this walk down your personal history more than once. You can come back another time when you feel ready for that mask. For each mask you find, ask if you are ready to take it off. How does that feel? Is it okay to discard it? Are you ready? It's important to take your time with each of these masks. The older you are, the more history there is to explore, so you don't necessarily have to do this in one session. When you have completed this ritual, make clear notes in your journal about what happened. Note each mask observed and all the above questions asked regarding that mask and the answers you received. If you like, make a drawing of what a physical representation of the mask might look like. Were you able to remove it? That's great. Another step closer to getting back to your authentic self.